Hi everyone, Leah here from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another fun beading video for you. Before I get started, just a quick reminder to go check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and notification bell and you'll always know when we're posting new content. What I'm going to be showing you how to do today is peyote with SuperDuos, which I don't know, I don't have the metric on it, but I think it might just be everyone's favorite two-hole bead. And what's going to happen is when we weave them together with peyote stitch, you get this beautiful feeling slinky bracelet. And that's really, really easy to whip up. And this is definitely an easy one evening project. And the exciting thing about this is that we are now carrying a line called Cymbal, which are beautiful metal findings that are specifically made to coordinate and fit in between all of your favorite two-hole beads that we also sell over on EurekaCrystalBeads.com. So the one I'm going to show you today is this one here, which, as you can see, fits right in with the SuperDuos. And it's a beautiful way for you to be able to finish off your bracelet. So the other elements I'm going to be using are obviously the SuperDuos I just mentioned, and it features an equal amount of beautiful different colors coordinated together. And really, you can just throw them into any project and you know that they're going to go beautifully together. So that's what I'm using here, as well as a Toho size 11 seed bead. My Yuki would of course work as well. And as always, we are going to link you below to everything that I used in the video. I'm going to put this aside for now because once I have shown you how to start the bracelet, this is all whipped up so I can show you exactly how you finish it and you add on your findings over here. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start by picking up a single size 11 seed bead, and I'm going to bring it to near the end of my fire line, and we're going to loop back through it to form a stop bead. And this will just be a way for us to add additional beads at the moment, and we won't have them slide off of the end of our fire line. Now, typically when you have a tail of thread, it's oftentimes just a few inches long, and the intention is just to weave it into your beadwork after. But for this particular project, we're going to leave it a bit longer, more like 6 inches or so, because we're actually going to throw a needle on this later and utilize it to add on 1/2 of our cymbal finding. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load on 6 of my SuperDuos, and it's up to you whether you're using a mix or not, how you want to load them on, but I like to just pick them up sort of randomly. That way they sort of get used up pretty evenly and I don't have to think about it. So I'm going to bring these to the end of my thread here at my stop bead, and you're going to encourage them to sit up, down, up, down, up, down, just like that. And what you want to do is the one that's at the very end here, the one that you most recently put on, if it's sitting upward, pointing up like this one currently is, let me get a good shot for you guys. See how it's sitting pointing up? You want to take this whole thing and just flip it over because you want your final SuperDuo for this pattern to be pointing down. Okay, so there's what you want it to look like. So now to start the next row, super simple. I'm going to pick up 2 size 11 seed beads and another SuperDuo. As far as what color to pick up, my suggestion is just to look at what color is least near your current area. So for me, I don't really have any of those bright limey greens right here like I do on the other side. So maybe that's the one that I'll pick up next. And all you're going to do is go into the top hole of the second to the last SuperDuo. You pull this all the way down, and we've started our next row. Now, the middle of the rows that you're doing are super easy because all you're doing is picking up a SuperDuo and going through the top hole of the next SuperDuo that's popped up. And then the one that you're pulling down will very nicely just sit right in that little empty spot, just like that. So now I'm going to pick up another SuperDuo. And I'm going to go through the top hole of the next one that's popped up, which happens to be the one at the very end, right next to that stop bead. And now what I like to do after each row is I give it a nice tug. I turn my beadwork because I like personally to always work with my needle going away from me. But I give it a nice good tug to tighten up that row. And that's what we have. So to start the next row, we're going to do just what we did on the other side. We're going to pick up 2 of our size 11 seed beads and a SuperDuo. So just like that on my needle. And I'm going to go through the top hole of the next SuperDuo that's popped up. So you'll see that we'll pick up a SuperDuo and we'll go through the one that my needle is pointing through. We'll pick up a SuperDuo and we'll go through the top hole of this one, and we'll pick up a SuperDuo and we'll go through the top hole of this one. So let me work that up real quick for you. You can see how that sits right into place. Going to pick up another SuperDuo. And one thing you'll want to do as you're working with SuperDuos is just make sure that both of the holes are open. Every once in a while, you might find a SuperDuo that just has a little bit of a plugged up hole. So you'd hate to get further into your beadwork and then find that you have a SuperDuo you need to go through from a previous row that has a blocked up hole. So those are the 3 that I've added on, those 3 right along the top here. Now I'm going to turn my work because again, that's just what I prefer to do. Give my last row a nice little tug. And then it starts over again with the 2 seed beads and the SuperDuo and through the top hole of the first SuperDuo that's popped up. And that's what you get. You continue to work this up. It's super easy, super fun. For those of you who like really nice, mindless, repetitive stitches, this is absolutely the one for you. And what I'm going to do now is basically show you how you add the ends. To add the cymbal finding that fits in beautifully with these SuperDuos to this first side, now that, as you can see, the rest of the bracelet, which is just so beautiful feeling, is worked up. To do that, we're going to start by picking up the 2 seed beads that we would normally be picking up if we were just simply starting a next row. What we normally were picking up with the seed beads was a SuperDuo, and we're still going to do that, but what we're going to pick up as the SuperDuo is the first little notch in our little finding here. And it's going to all kind of zipper together. So if you can imagine that this just interlocks into here, that's how we're going through everything. So I have my 2 seed beads on my needle. And I'm going to go right into this first little notch. I'm going to bring this all the way down. You can see how it's going to fit right in just like that. And now where we'd be going next would be into the top hole of this first popped up SuperDuo, and that's exactly what we're still going to do. And once you go through that, it'll start to stay in place a little bit easier. See? And now we're going to do what we're doing with the peyote. We're going to go through or pick up another SuperDuo, but the SuperDuo we're picking up is just going to be the next SuperDuo shape that's on the finding. So it's that middle one right there. I'm going to pull that all the way through. Don't get caught around, which I am. You can see it pulls it all down together. And then we're going to go through the next top hole that we have there popping up for that next SuperDuo. Pulls it right in. And lastly, the final SuperDuo in that metal finding there. And then the very final actual SuperDuo in the bracelet. And it just sews it right in beautifully. Like, I'm amazed. I'm actually amazed that these findings weren't made sooner with how popular SuperDuos have been and continue to be. But I digress. They are here. We have them. And we are super excited for them. So to finish up the other side, I'm going to pick up a single seed bead. And that's going to sort of serve as the stop bead that we kind of had down here. Oops, it's flipping all around. Down here on this side. Okay. And I'm going to use this as a stopper bead. Like I said, I'm going to go right back into the SuperDuo the SuperDuos in that top row as well as the finding. So you may be able to get through a bunch of it at once. Ooh, and I did. I got through all of it at once, which is super helpful. Let's see, pull this all the way through. And there we go. So now that we'll mirror the other side. And then what I like to do is just circle back around through all of this and reinforce it, because I want to make sure that this is nice and strong. This is where a lot of the pull will be as you're wearing the bracelet, as you're taking it on, taking it off. And I want to make sure that I have more than just a couple of lines of fire line through here. So I am just going to circle back around and just reinforce this a bit before I weave out this thread. Okay, so I'm going to take care of that, and then I'm going to show you the other side. All right, now to get the finding onto my other side, my original side that I started with, you'll notice that we have the single stop bead there. That was the very first bead we picked up, and that will sort of mirror image the one that we have down here. And just like we have the double that we started with when we added this side, that will end up being on the other side over here. So I'm going to start by going through the first notch of my finding, just like that, and then right through the top hole of that next SuperDuo. And you're going to see how this will all pull right down into place, just like that. And then just like the other side, we're just going to zipper up and down through the next notch in the finding, then through the top hole of the next SuperDuo, then through the notch in the finding, and then through the top hole of the very last SuperDuo. I missed my notch there. There we go. And it's okay if it's a little bit loose, because once you get through all of it, that's when you can pull it all tight. Just like that. Just so neat and clean. I absolutely love it. I think it looks amazing, and I'm super excited about these findings. So to finish it up so we can head back across and continue to reinforce that, I'm going to pick up the 2 seed beads that I had started with on the other side when I put on the first half of this finding, and we're going to go right back across the findings and the SuperDuos, and then we can start to reinforce it. So now I'm just going to circle back around this so that way I can make sure it's nice and strong. Again, take that extra moment, make sure that you have more than just 1 or 2 lines of fire line holding this on, because you took all the time to make this beautiful bracelet. Now we want to make sure that it stays put together, so we can go ahead and just loop back through a couple of times, just through the thread path that's already there, through the bottom holes and then the upper holes. And when you're going through the upper holes, obviously you're going through the notches of the finding. You can circle back through that a few times to get it nice and strong. And I will be back in just a minute to show you the completed project with the clasp attached. All right, so this is what your finished bracelet looks like. I've just used some jump rings to attach a beautiful tiara cast pewter toggle to my bracelet. But again, I do feel like the star of the show are these beautiful new findings by Cymbal, and we do carry them in both gold and silver in an array of different styles to accommodate many of your favorite 2-hole and single-hole beads, and they really do add a beautiful finished look that I think many of you have been asking for and craving. If you want to learn more about them, make sure to go and check out our new product spotlight for the Cymbal findings on our Eureka Crystal Beads YouTube channel. And that wraps it up, folks. So we're going to link you right in the video to everything that I used. And yeah, visit us on over at eurekacrystalbeads.com, and hopefully we can satisfy all of your beading and jewelry needs. Bye, everyone.